73(1) of the Constitution. E, that the conduct of the Cabinet Secretary of approving the procurement and distribution of fake fertilizer amounts to gross violation of the principles of public finance contrary to Article 201 of the Constitution, as public money was not applied in a prudent and responsible way. F, that the conduct of the Cabinet Secretary in which he submitted to the Departmental Committee on Agriculture that the NCPB signed an agent's agreement with 51 Capital Africa Diatomite Industries for supply and distribution of GPC diatomaceous for its commercial function, and that the product was not sold as a chemical fertilizer but as soil conditioner, was in gross violation of Article 152(5)(a) and E 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 of the Constitution. That the conduct of the Cabinet Secretary of overseeing the implementation of the budgets of the NCPB under his control for the procurement and distribution of fake fertilizer is a gross violation of values and principles of public service on use of resources efficiently, effectively, and economically. Honorable members, the proposed motion also seeks the dismissal of the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture on the ground of serious reasons for believing that he has committed a crime under the national law. To this end, the member for Bumula constituency has stated as follows in the proposed motion: that the conduct of the Cabinet Secretary discloses grounds that there are serious reasons for believing that the Cabinet Secretary has committed a crime under the national law involving offences relating to abuse of office and false claims contrary to Section 100 and 101 of the Penal Code. B, that the conduct of the Cabinet Secretary discloses grounds that there are serious reasons for believing that the Cabinet Secretary has committed a crime under national law relating to forgery, uttering false documents, and procuring execution of documents by false pretenses contrary to Section 353 and 355 of the Penal Code. The member further avers that the Cabinet Secretary is currently under investigation by the DCI following the findings of the court in FML versus DPP and 3 others, Registrar of Companies and 10 others, 2021 Kenya law reports, and is further facing arrest and prosecution in 6 pending civil and commercial and family suits. Honorable members, finally, on the third ground, the member for Bumula constituency seeks the dismissal of the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and Livestock Development on the grounds of gross misconduct, and states as follows: A, that the conduct of the Cabinet Secretary of getting into public spats with journalists who unearthed the distribution of the fake fertilizer discloses the ground of gross misconduct insofar as a state officer he has failed to demonstrate professionalism in carrying out duties of the office and in a manner that maintains public confidence in the integrity of the office contrary to Section 11A of the Leadership and Integrity Act, Cap 185C. B, that the conduct of the Cabinet Secretary of storming into the manufacturing plants and purporting to be revoking licenses without conducting investigations amounts to gross misconduct insofar as a state officer he has failed to demonstrate professionalism in carrying out duties of the office and in a manner that maintains public confidence in the integrity of the office, manner contrary to Section 11A of the Leadership and Integrity Act, Cap 185C. That the conduct of the Cabinet Secretary of approving procurement and distribution of fake fertilizer insofar as a state officer he has failed to exercise public trust in the best interest of the people of Kenya amounts to gross misconduct contrary to Section 8 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, Cap 185C. And D, that the conduct of the Cabinet Secretary of approving procurement and distribution of fake fertilizer insofar as a state officer he has failed to exercise his duties to the best of his ability and to carry out the duties efficiently and honestly and in a transparent and accountable manner and amounts to gross misconduct contrary to Section 10A and B of the Leadership and Integrity Act 185. E, that the conduct of the Cabinet Secretary of approving the procurement and distribution of fake fertilizer by NCPB discloses the ground of gross misconduct insofar as the state officer has failed to demonstrate professionalism in carrying out duties of the office in a manner that maintains public confidence in the integrity of the office contrary to Section 11A of the Leadership and Integrity Act, Cap 185C. F, that the conduct of the Cabinet Secretary of approving the procurement and distribution of fake fertilizer by NCPB and misleading the public by giving false information to the Departmental Committee on Agriculture that GPC diatomaceous was distributed as soil conditioner and not fertilizer amounts to gross misconduct, contrary to Section 29 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, Cap 185. Members at the bar, take the nearest seats. Take the nearest seats. Thank you. Honorable members, in addition to the three grounds that I have just highlighted, the member for Bumula has attached additional background information to further substantiate his stated grounds. Additionally, the honorable member has attached a sworn statement in which he avers that all the information stated in the proposed motion is true and correct to the best of his knowledge. Notably, the honorable member has also annexed to the proposed motion evidence and supporting documents contained in 5 annexes. This includes the response by the Cabinet Secretary to the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock correspondences, statements, a court judgment, Honorable FML versus DPP and 3 others, Register of Companies and 10 others, 2021 e-Kenya law reports and submissions by the Kenya Bureau of Standards, KEBS, the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and call logs, among other documents. Honorable members, in light of the foregoing and pursuant to Standing Order 64 and 66, I'm of the considered opinion that the grounds specified for the dismissal of the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and Livestock Development as contained in the proposed motion A are framed clearly to particularize and disclose a gross violation of the Constitution and other written law, in this case being the Penal Code and Leadership and Integrity Act. B, state with precision the provisions of the Constitution or other written law, in this case the Penal Code and the Leadership and Integrity Act, that are alleged to have been grossly violated, and C, are accompanied by necessary evidence, including annexed sworn testimonies in respect of the allegations. Consequently, the grounds for dismissal of the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and Livestock Development and contained in the proposed motion comply with the requirements of Standing Order 64, 1A and 66. This also settles the second issue. Honorable members, in view of the foregoing, I find that the proposed special motion meets the applicable procedural requirements for it to be admitted to the next stage. Order. Order. You can cheer after I finish my ruling. Those foot thumpings are an interruption. In this regard, honorable members, as with a light touch, I note that Standing Order 47 4A provides that a member shall give notice of motion in the House within 3 sitting days following approval by the Speaker. In the circumstances following my approval of the proposed motion, I will allow the member for Bumula to give the notice of motion for this